No.
Hi. All right. And welcome everyone to another episode of Naughty Numerology Podcast. I am your host, Rothy. It has been a while since we've done one of these podcasts. Let me go ahead and turn my mic here to where it should be. I guess I should be getting closer over here. So it's been a while since I've done a Naughty Numerology podcast consultation and reading. And there's several reasons why. We've got a couple different shows that I've been working on, of course, with Oracle Talk Radio Network. Shout out to them. That is where we are airing right now. So shout out to Tom and Oracle Talk Radio Network for partnering with us for this. So today's reading is for my good friend Stephanie. Stephanie and I have known each other for several years now. We have connected on many things, spiritual, political, family, love, so on and so forth. And she is just a wonderful energy. And like me, she too is a lizard from the desert. So you will see in my logo and stuff like that, I have a bunch of references to my desert background, my beginnings in the sun and the cactus. So really good to have you on today. Stephanie, thank you so much for taking time to do this and having interest in doing this. I know we've been wanting to do this for a while.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course. All righty. So getting started, we'll just go ahead and I'm going to give you the basics. I know you and you've been following me for a little while, so you've got some of this stuff. But for some of the people who may be tuning in for the first time, don't know much about numerology, let me go ahead and give them the basics really quickly, right? So I start out as such. Basically, we all know now everything and everyone is energy, right? So how do we quantify that? Through frequency. And how do we quantify frequency? Through numbers. Therefore, everything and everyone is numbers, hence the study and the science of numerology, which I have learned and have come to find is actually the binary coding to our life's experiences, as well as to our reality as a whole, okay? God created our simulation and encoded us into it. And that's basically in a nutshell, how numerology works, right? So numerology, there is Pythagorean numerology, which I consider to be the most like scientific form of numerology. That is what we study. That's what I do consultations on. And then there's, of course, like gematria and stuff like that. That's a little more mystic, and I don't really get into that at all. But for numerology charts, everybody has, just like you have an astrology chart, well, everybody has a numerology chart as well. This is based upon your birth date, of course, but also the spelling of your full name, right? So we all have 5 placements in our numerology chart. We have our life path, our birth dates. Those 2 numbers are based upon the actual date of your birth. Then we have your expression, personality, and heart's desire numbers. And those are based upon the actual spelling of our names. Okay. And all of the numbers in our placements will be one of 12 digits. And that's it. There's no such thing as like 111 or 222 or 333 in charts. Those quote unquote angel numbers, which I don't call them angel numbers, I don't believe in that, but like those numbers that's something different. It's not that they don't exist, but they don't apply to numerology charts. So your placements will be one of 12 digits, either one of the cardinals, 1 through 9, or one of the masters, 11, 22, and 33. And that's it. Okay. So it's pretty easy. Once you've got the basics and the rules down of numerology and how charts work, it becomes a little bit easier to kind of understand how it all programs together, right? So with that being said, let's talk about the life path and the birth date number. The life path number is what I call the destination energy, right? So this is the number that is ultimately our life's purpose. Most of us will not exhibit or fully exhibit all the attributes of our life path number until maybe our latter years, okay? Whereas our birthday number is more of like the journey energy, right? So the parts of our, the parts of us that stay the same from birth until death, those attributes are always about us. And they will go in to support that ultimate destination life path number. Okay. I'll go into the other three as we go along. But starting out with your life path number. This is interesting because with your birth date number, obviously you were born on the 1st. I too was born on the 1st, on May 1st, right? But so your birthday energy is a 1, right? And birthday energy ones we're very unique. We're one of a kind, 1 in a million. The 1 itself is a very dominant number. It's one of the leaders. Look at the shape of it, kind of very hard lined, rigid. All of the leadership numbers, the 1, the 4, and the 7, you're going to realize that they have all hard lines to them. They have no rounds, they have no curvature or anything like that. The 4, hard line number. You know what I mean? The 7, hard line number. And so this is a number that is more intolerant. They're all leadership numbers, but the 1 is like the CEO. It's like the independent leader, right? It's not a leader that needs to have anybody there following them. It's kind of very Jerry Maguire energy where it's like, y'all don't have to come with me, but I'm out of here. I'm going to blaze my own trail. Once again, very independent, 1 and only, the 1 in a million, the 1. So I call this energy, that's like my weirdness, right? And I embrace that. Like I love the weird about me and I don't shy away from it at all. I absolutely love it. And it's the things about the 1 that make them very unique. So the 1 is very much the type of person that is going to blaze their own trail and not care if anybody follows them. But in that regard, they become a leader because people see that independence, right? So that's very much the daily energy. And you've always had like a very independent, one of a kind, uniqueness, authenticity about you that also may be intolerant of certain things. Now, this is where it gets interesting because your life path number is 2. Now, the 2, if the 1 is the alpha, the male, the father energy, then the 2 is the mother energy. Very nurturing, very loving, very supportive, and giving, right? So 2s, and I mean, I know you're a mom, and I know you're very, nurturing and loving and such, but 2s and 11s a lot of times will love to cook. That's kind of one of their things. They will a lot of times interpret or use food for love. I'm of the belief that like food should be a love language anyway. I think it's like a 6th love language. And so the 2 is kind of like a representation of that, right? And so with this 2 energy, it's very supportive. It's wise beyond what it's given credit for. So very underestimated type energy, but it's wise like a mom with eyes in the back of its head, and a very loving. 2s a lot of times will have, people over at their houses. They'll have an extra bed for somebody. They're always giving, always wanting to give and nurture. And here's a bite off my plate, here's a bite of my dinner. I want you to try this food. Again, food is a big love language for the 2 and the 11. So I know you're a mom and all of that, but this is an energy that's going to continue. It's always been like that. Like even with friends and people that aren't in your family, it's a very loving, nurturing, mothering energy about you. If you look at the shape of the 2, it's, like that. And if the 1 is right next to it, if the 1 were to fall over, the 2 is almost primed to bounce that 1 back up. Do you see that? So the 2 is once again very supportive and is always going to be on its feet no matter what. The 2 doesn't have the breakability that the 1 has, right? So what this may look like in your world or in your experience is the things that tend to bring you to the brink, the stresses in life and things like that tend to bring you to the brink. If you go back into your Venus energy, your nurturing two energy, that is what's going to prop you back up. And that can look like very much like I'm having issues at work or in a relationship or what have you. But loving my kids always brings me back to center gravity. It always grounds me back into the ground. And giving that sort of nurturing energy, that Venus energy that you infuse, there's a spiritual reward with it. So yes, you may be pouring into somebody else, but spirit and energy and God is pouring back into you as you nurture, as you love. So there's very much you love doing for people, you love doing for your family, you love giving and loving. And but it's sometimes because the one and the two are very opposite end energy. The one is the male, the two is the mother, the one is the father. That can feel very much like a contrast of energy sometime within you. It's almost like a conflict within you, right? But it's a good balance. So just know that you have both strengths. You have that masculine father energy in you, and you have that feminine energy in you as well, that mothering energy in you. And neither one of those are ever going to leave you. So no matter what comes and goes in life, you will always have that there to rely on
Mom.
and to fall back on. Now, going into your expression number. So, our expression number is basically how and why we do things, right? And it's based upon, of course, our charts, but environmental factors, experiences, so on and so forth. And your expression number is the 5. So the 5 is something that like you can't sit still for 5 minutes. You're always coming and going, but even when you're sleeping, even when you're sitting, there's always 15 things going on in your head all the time. But you thrive in that. That's okay with you, right? Like it's if you were to sit still for 5 minutes and actually start to get some rest, it would kind of feel comfortable. Like, what's going on? Why are things so calm right now? The 5 is change, it's travel, it is pleasure, it's beauty, it's mass appeal. And it's like, pizza for dinner instead of a home cooked meal. It is the pleasures of life, the extracurricular things in life.
So where did the 5 come from again? I'm sorry.
That's your expression number.
Okay, it was cutting out. Okay.
That's your expression number. So your life path is 2, your birthday is 1, and your expression number is 5. So the way that you do things is there's a tremendous amount of energy, and that's great for, anybody who's a mom or a parent. The way that you do things is energetically. You will do them with joy. The 5 is there to spread joy. It's very much sunshine. You know what I mean? Like that sun and my logo, like that's a big 5. I too am an expression 5. So far we have 2 numbers in the same placement. Same number, same placement. The birthday 1 and the expression 5. And so you do things from beauty, you do them from energy, and you do them from new experiences. 5s this is kind of like the shadow side of the 5, and this is the way that I always explain it. If there's like a block party going on, right? The 5 is generally like the life of the party. And everybody wants the 5 at their house on the block party. And the 5's like, yeah, I'm coming. I'm going to be at the block party. But then everybody takes that as you're going to come to my house. And that's, the 5's going to come to my house. And so the 5 can tend to be like, can overcommit themselves, right? And can seem flighty in that regard. but they're not. They're just trying to make people happy. They're trying to spread that joy. And fives, a lot of times, need to focus. They need to realize that even though they're okay with the 15 things going on at the same time, that maybe that's not what other people perceive it to be. Even though they're going to be at the block party, they need to realize that other people are taking it as, I'm going to be at your house. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so basically the five is always wanting to make people happy and spread joy. And the five can literally learn to say, you know what, I'll be at the block party. I'm not sure if I can make it to your house, but I'll be there. Hopefully I'll see you. Or they can graciously decline, or they can, they can have, they can, tentatively accept, that sort of a thing. So that's one of the things that the five can use as a tool to kind of get more organized with their communication and their interpersonal dealings with other people, because the five is always going in 15 different directions, like I said. And a lot of times people are like, where are you going? What's going on? What's happening? And so the five can use that tool to like better help people understand where they're at, because they're always going in 15, you know what I mean? So it looks a little more, it helps people to become more centered within the five, and it helps the five to become more centered, right? Because the five is never going to change, and needing that, that's interesting. The five is never going to change and needing that constant change and stimulation. They just need that. It's something they need, right? So moving on to your personality number, this is what I call the perception number, right? It's known as the personality number. I call it the perception number because it's how we're perceived in life. Okay. And you have a perception number of 1. So very similar to your birthday number, you also have the perception number. So people see you as this unique, authentic, one of a kind, one in a million type of personality that has beauty, that has a lot of energy, that has a lot of pleasure, that has a lot of that, right? Because that's how you work and operate. But they see you as very much on your own, as very independent, also very inspired. Look at the shape of the 1. It's very I. There's that inspiration about it. Independence, inspiration, individuality, intuition, right? Yeah, so this is intuition is definitely something that I'm picking up for your personality number.
Oh yeah.
And so people do see you as having that intuitive side, and may come to you for such. But that's how you're seen. Very unique, very individualized, very inspired, and very different, one of a kind. Now, moving on to your heart's desire number. Your heart's desire number, this is exactly what it sounds like. It's our soul urge. It's what we want out of life. Your heart's desire number is a 4, okay? But it's a 13-4. It's not a 31-4, like I'm a life path 31-4. And it's not a straight up 4, and it's not a 22-4. It's a 13-4. So what this tells me is a lot. 13 is a karmic number, right? So let's talk about the 4. The 4 is the builder. The 4 is also the justice. If we're looking at the leadership numbers, the 1, the 4, and the 7, the 1 is the CEO, kind of the independent, all by themselves leader. The 4 is the leader of the people. It's like the director of operations, right? If you were to like lean the 4 over or knock it over, it's going to be kind of like channeling people or directing people in a certain direction, right? So that's like the director of operations. And but it's also the justice. So it has a vein in it of righting the wrongs. It wants to right the wrongs of the world. Now, this is where the 13 comes in because the 13 is karma. So what this tells me in your heart's desire number is that ultimately in life, you want to use your intuition, your joy and your light of spreading joy and love and fun and pleasure with nurturing as the mother to neutralize karma from the past and to heal from the past and to right the wrongs of the past. Now, a 13-4 could be karma from another lifetime, or it could be karma from not even you. It could be generational karma, healing of the ancestors type stuff, right? Generally, that's what it is. Generally, that's what it is. Not always. But there is a major soul urge to heal traumas from the past and to heal karma from the past through love, intuition, and spreading joy and pleasure and beauty. But doing things the right way and doing it right the first time. That's very much
The lesson.
yeah, and it may be like a lesson, but it also may be something that is always going to be a soul urge because do we ever do things right the first time? Isn't that what life's about? Is going through and having our journey. We're
Right.
never going to do things right the first time around. Like that's why we have multiple lives.
That makes us who we are. So
Right. And so, but I have an initial of A. And this 4 has become an A. I don't know if that is relevant to somebody, but there's an initial of A that's come through with that heart's desire 4. And I didn't mean to draw it like that. So write that down and we'll talk about that in a moment.
okay.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So that's the basics of your chart and what your numbers mean. And in essence, you want to, as you are, as your own person, your own authentic, individualized, inspired person, want to take charge, but with love and through nurturing and joy and pleasure and beauty. Use your intuition to bring forth and heal karma from the past.
Sounds about right.
That's what your chart says in numbers.
Okay.
With relevance to somebody with an A.
Huh. I don't know. I was told I have an older female energy around me, but and I wouldn't know who that is, so maybe I don't know. There's yeah, I don't know who
That's
the initial would be. Is
just,
like
yeah,
significant in life. Is like honestly, I don't.
that's okay. That's okay. A lot of
I,
times the stuff will come
I'm not speaking
after.
on anymore, but I don't know. Like as far as anybody's name starting with an A, no, that's weird.
Just
My
keep it.
mom's name is Patricia.
Mhm.
Um, So what does it mean exactly? Like I'm wanting to heal trauma and karmic, you know, um, issues with this A initial, or it just came through.
Um, it's wanting to heal karma in general. That's, transmute karma and
Yeah.
channel and heal it. And that's just in general. The A is coming out as like how I ended up drawing the 4 next to the 13. It looks like an A. I'll show you. And when things like that happen, I know it's not an accident. It's not an accident. So like see right there how it's almost looks like an A, and
Yeah.
that's a 13, but it also looks like a B. You know what I mean? So but that A is standing out to me even though that's
Yeah.
a 4.
Okay.
So just hold on to that in the back of your mind, and
Yep.
something's telling me to focus on dreams, that we might get messaging through dreams. Okay. Um,
I rarely dream anymore. Maybe my 2-year-old has something to do with that. I don't know. Like I don't enter the REM long enough, but my dreams are they're just weird.
Mine have been super strange lately too. I think we're kind of in a
I try to recite it. It's like I can't. I just if I could draw it out, maybe. I don't know.
yeah.
It's-
Try to do some intentional meditation before you go to bed, maybe listening to some meditation music and reciting some affirmations of like, I intend to, when I wake up, I intend to remember all of the messaging in my dreams. And then when you wake up, give yourself a little bit of time if you can. I know mommyhood sometimes doesn't allow for that, but try to do that. But with regards to the rest of the chart, what are your thoughts? Do you have any questions, or did you need anything clarified?
um. No, it's pretty clear. I mean, it's not surprising.
Does it relate? Be
It
able to
it does
do
like
it?
it does.
Okay.
It's kind of like it's affirming, I guess you could say. Like,
Okay.
yeah, that's really
Okay. Sorry, I'm just focusing on the word intuition right now. Which to me feels like a message to tell you to focus more on your intuition.
okay.
Do you do any sort of like meditation practices or anything like that?
Um, yeah, I recently started like Tai Chi in the mornings. If I can get up and get it, it's like this little 20-minute. It goes through 18 of the movements, and it's just, to me, that's like, it's meditation.
Yeah. Yeah, you were telling me about that. You were telling me about that. The Tai Chi was doing good for you. Okay, good.
So, yeah, my mom, I'm in her house right now. So, trying to counteract those two energies, her as in mine. It's been challenging at times.
Yeah.
I've definitely been trying to I mean, I'm in the middle of town, which is already not my comfort zone. So
Right. Right.
I'm trying. I've been through a 5-year breakup. So, well, it would have been our 5 years in December. So, and then of course after I leave, he stops the alcohol. Like, okay.
So, okay, that immediate thing though, and I understand how that feels. But that immediate thing is a healing of a karma. That's a healing of a karma right there. That's an example of how that can look. And I know that that's probably not the favorite example that you would want. Like he doesn't deserve to be healed. You know what I mean? Kind of feels like it like that.
Well,
Sometimes we go
that
and
does father of my child. So yeah,
yeah,
I pray for his healing and.
oh, good.
But yeah, I mean, I think maybe even from my first relationship, we got together when I was 17. We were together for 22 years, had 2 kids together. And it's like, I made a lot of mistakes in that relationship. So, and I'm definitely trying to make up for it now, with when I did end up leaving, that affected my kids. And then they have to spend 1 week with him and me and whatever. So I am definitely using my nurturing, trying to just be a happier person for them.
Right.
So
Right.
I know they didn't ask to be here and go through all that BS. So
Right.
1 second, my toddler's in the fridge. Come on,
Soda Max, give me a soda, Max.
yeah, here's a 7-Up. He's got the key limes. Okay. He's counting the key limes. This kid, he'll be 3 on Christmas Eve. He
oh,
can he can count to 100. He
oh,
counts by 2s, 5s, 10s.
nice. Is he homeschooled?
He sings gospel. Oh yeah, by me, of course. So I
Nice.
was a preschool teacher for 5 years. I was a bus driver for another 5, and then I left Head Start when I had him. So I need to get back into. I have my associate in early childhood, but it takes a lot for me to energetic wise to um, teach other people's kids, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I don't take it lightly. So right now I'm trying to focus on mine and then.
Well, here's what immediately is coming to me, Stephanie, immediately coming to me. I mean, you have the official, you have the background of that, and the training for it, and you're doing it for your kid. I'm just implored to tell you, I would really encourage you to look into starting a homeschool school for yourself so that you can teach other people's kids and make a great living at it. I mean, you get 5 to 10 kids. That's a small classroom for compared to the public schools. Even 5 kids, that's a small classroom. They're getting a lot more one-on-one training and teaching. They're getting out of the public school system, and you're making a great career and and able to teach your kid. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's what's like.
I've thought about it. It takes a lot. Right now, I'm pretty much I'm living with my mother, so
Yeah.
I've got a lot of work to do. But yeah, I mean, like, it's definitely a possibility. I'd like to. I mean, I'm going to be helping people. I just don't know where yet.
Yeah.
And what I am right now doing side jobs for old ladies, so I love doing that,
Good.
helping them out.
Good. Good. Now keep in mind that A initial can be something dealing with anybody. It
Mm-hmm.
that right now you are,
I'll keep.
yeah, yeah, keep that in mind. People that you're coming into contact with, that you're close to like that, there is, and once you find who that is, you're going to realize the connection of that karma and what the lesson it is in that healing, right? And what that message is. Okay. And you don't have to like think of it right now, but I'm feeling inspired to tell you that of like, always keep in mind, and it will hit you. It will hit you like a ton of bricks when you meet that person. I know I'll get a message from you and you'll be like, Sarah, I know who the A is. I
Yeah.
know who the A is, and it's going to make sense to you. That's how this stuff always works. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Put it out of your head. Don't even think about it again, because when it comes, it will be like, boom. Oh yeah, that's right. This is the A that Sarah was telling me about. And it's going to make sense to you. And the message will be there and it will be clear as the sky.
I'm looking at my page. Scott.
Okay. Yeah, you doodle like me. Okay. I love it. You're a doodler like me. That's what I do to the charts too.
Ah, what's that? Okay.
Start doing that for your meditations too, Stephanie. Start doing that too. Start doing just the doodle. Write down your stuff.
I doodle on.
Huh?
I said, yeah, I doodle on it. I've
Yeah.
got better, but just
Yeah. I was surprised. That's how I channeled the first time I channeled somebody's relative that had been murdered, was through doodling on their chart. I called them out by name, you know? So some of us, like, you know, that Tyler, that Hollywood medium Tyler guy,
oh, that Tyler Henry. My mom loves
yeah,
him.
yeah, he does the scratches. He just does scratches,
Yep.
and he's an automatic writer like that, and that's how he channels. I've tried that before. I can't do that. I literally have to draw stuff or write stuff or see stuff in what I'm writing. That's how it comes to me.
Start writing. Yeah. Start drawing. Start drawing off of your letters.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Get creative with it, like a school teacher would on a chalkboard, and you know what I mean? Be creative with it. Let your creativity flow with it. You there? I think we might have lost. All right. So I will get back with her. And we might do a follow up to this. If not, thank you for tuning in for Stephanie's episode and reading for Naughty Numerology podcast. And we will be doing this again soon. If you would like to have your reading done, feel free to email me or hit me up on social media, naughtynumerology@gmail.com. And you can also follow me on Instagram as well as TikTok. Okay. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.